So Senator Mark Kirk, thanks for joining us on the Illinois Channel.
Thank you.
One of the issues that obviously when we talk about the growing national debt, it's not just the debt that is on the books, it's the debt that is off the books, and we talk about entitlement. As we tape this, I know the House Budget Committee Chairman, Representative Ryan, is going to be coming out with the Republican budget. Let me ask, is the House budget approach being coordinated with the Senate Republicans? Will this be a combined Republican Party approach to the budget? Or when we hear that, is that going to be just the view of the House Republicans?
Right now, it's just the view of the House Republicans. Chairman Ryan has not shared the details of his budget with Senate Republicans. He did an overall briefing yesterday, but it didn't have any details in it. And so my expectation is that Chairman Ryan will reveal the budget on Sunday, and we in the Senate will look at it very closely.
Now, when we look at the total federal budget, less and less of that is discretionary spending, so you really can't cut back a whole lot without cutting back on some of the entitlements. Have you given any thought to the approach of entitlements, and what would your proposals be if you have?
I think we need entitlement reform, and I think those reforms are best encapsulated in the Bipartisan Deficit Commission report. The most conservative Republican in the Senate, Coburn of Oklahoma, voted for the Bipartisan Deficit Commission report, as did Senator Durbin. It shows that behind the scenes there's considerably more agreement between left and right than you would think. Now, the Deficit Commission report does entitlement reform, and it cuts 4 times the amount of federal spending that the president's budget does. I think it's a good blueprint for the future.
We won't keep you much longer, but you have a particularly, I think, interesting background relative to your education in the London School of Economics and the focus on the budget at this particular time. Knowing what you know, looking at the budget as you have, how critical is the debt situation, and do we have enough time to turn this around before we face a real crisis?
I think a crisis involving the U.S. debt is measured in years, not in months. But unfortunately, it's coming. I don't think it's sustainable in any way to borrow $1 trillion a year, most of it from overseas. Eventually, common sense tells us that our creditors will wonder if they can be repaid. And with mounting debts, the answer will be that's an increasing doubt. I don't think we should put the next generation of Americans through a future that involves tremendous debts owed to overseas creditors, which is why we have to cut back spending now.
One last question. When we come up to the vote on raising the national debt limit, what are your thoughts?
My vote will be no, unless we have comprehensive, substantive, and effective anti-spending reforms that make future debt limit extension votes impossible. I've laid out 15 anti-spending reforms. The biggies, including the balanced budget amendment to the Constitution, to small things like wiping out dozens of whole federal programs. If we could do that, it might be worth it. Without comprehensive anti-spending reforms, I'm a no vote.
Senator Mark Kirk, thanks for joining us.
You bet. Thank you.